I know, predictably, somebody in the comments will talk about how game awards are rigged and game awards don't really matter, and what matters is the bank account, and Game Science is laughing their way all the way to the bank because they've just broken all the Steam sales records. I agree, but let's not have that stop the discussion that we might possibly have about Wukong's miraculous appearance as a nominee in the Game Awards. Monkey fans, you may rejoice. Black Myth Wukong is one of the 6 nominees for the Game of the Year Award 2024. I must say this came as a bit of a surprise considering all the scandals, the smearings that the game has to suffer from before its launch. I mean, we all remember about Screen Rant's article about how this game lacks diversity and inclusivity, and these folks obviously didn't play past chapter 4 to see all the women in the game. And even after the game has launched, this game faces drama after drama after drama. Case in point, in the 42nd Golden Joystick Award, the game was not nominated for Console Game of the Year, and the fans were all up and angry. And eventually, in the Ultimate Game of the Year award in this same show, Black Myth Wukong sneaked in a nomination among 11 other entries. Drama number 2, when IGN organized a popularity contest for Game of the Year, Black Myth Wukong was actually doing really well. It reached a height of 90.4%, the top of the list, before it mysteriously plummeted to 74.4% in less than 2 hours and continued to decline, which prompted many players and many leading professionals to question the poll as to whether it's been rigged or not. Subsequently, IGN came out to explain about how their face-off system worked and the result of why Black Myth Wukong's ratings dropped. But you know what? At this point, no one's really interested in listening to their explanation. Black Myth Wukong is kind of like an icon to showcase the struggle between the cultural wars that's happening, right, between the gaming journalists as well as the gamers. And on the gamers and the players side, YouTube content creators have been rising to the occasion to be the representative voices of the gamers to contest most of the things that the gaming journalists have written. Gaming journalists are accused of wanting to push a more woke and inclusive narrative into gaming to make it relatable to the modern audience, whereas hardcore gamers or even casual gamers themselves just want the politics out of games, just want to play a good game, be able to immerse into something that takes them away from the real world, away from real world politics. The gaming journalists are like the obnoxious Jedi Council, and then the YouTube creators are like the Sith that rise to contest it. Maybe not the best example. So now that Black Myth Wukong has been nominated, let's take a look at the rest of the nominees to see what is the competition like in this particular category, right? I think there's some very strong contests over here. Astrobot, Bellatrol, Black Myth Wukong, Elden Ring Shadow of the Odd Tree DLC, Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, and Metaphor. Now, Astrobot and Metaphor, I don't have many friends who play them, but whenever I read reviews about these two games, they were spoken very highly of, and the reviews are quite glowing and positive. Elden Ring is very much well loved both by its fandom as well as other gamers that's just joined in. It's a pretty good DLC. But in my opinion, a DLC should not be in contest for Game of the Year, because if that's the case, Phantom Liberty should have been nominated in 2023. But instead, Phantom Liberty together with Cyberpunk was in contest and eventually won the Best Ongoing Game category in 2023, and I think for some consistency, the Elden Ring DLC should have followed in the footsteps of the predecessor, right? Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, in my opinion, should be the one that will win the award. I think it has garnered very strong positive support throughout the entire year. It is well loved both by the gaming journalists as well as the players and the fan base itself. So I think it has a great shout out, and my prediction would be that it will nail the award. Of course, if Black Myth Wukong win, I'll be happy too, but I think really Monkey is an outlier in this case. I'm happy as it is that it got nominated in the first place. Let's talk about how Game of the Year award is determined. Okay, so you have a jury panel, and their opinion weighs 90% of the decision. And then there's a public voting section where you can vote for your preferred Game of the Year, and that constitutes 10% of the overall decision. Now, this ratio is absolute rubbish in my opinion. I think it should be 50-50 or at most 60-40-60 on the side of the industry experts, the jury panel, and then 40% to public voting, right? But to have it 90-10 just smacks of match fixing. Right? Yeah. So there's Anyway, so who is in the jury panel? As far as I know, that this year the jury panel is being kept secret and you don't know who actually determines the winner for the Game of the Year awards. So at the end of the day, who is your Game of the Year award winner? I'd like to hear about it. Let's have a conversation. Drop in the comments below. Drop a like and a subscribe if you want to, and I see you in the next video. Goodbye.